Many school districts across the state require students to create accounts and generate their own funding requests for any exams or courses. Other school districts choose to enter all the data requests on behalf of their students. But in some instances, they have students who, or parents who are extra diligent and like to have insight into what is being requested on their behalf. So in both of those instances, you'll want to know how to manage student accounts. So managing student accounts can be done here under Students. And anytime you have a student who has created or requested an account or access to the Advanced Opportunities portal, you'll find them here under New Students. When you click here, you'll find a list of students who have requested an account. To approve their account, you will click on their name, and you'll find this page here. In some instances, their EDU ID number will be blank. If it is, you'll want to enter it. If they have entered their EDU ID number, then you want to double check it and make sure it's accurate. And then you will go ahead and approve the account. That way they have access. Now, other things you want to be aware of when you're managing student accounts is how to reset a student password. There are two different ways that you can reset a password. You can do it here from your main menu. You'll enter the email address and the student's EDU ID number. The student can also reset their own password by going to the Advanced Opportunities page, and they can apply for Advanced Opportunities. They can go ahead and click Login, and they'll have an option here that says Can't Log In. And you can go ahead and click on that. They can type in their password, and in both of those instances, they will receive a gibberish, it's like a 6-digit password that they will need to enter. And once they enter that, they'll be able to get into the system, and they can reset it to a password of their choice from their profile. The other feature that is available here for students is to resend the verification email. Some of you may remember that when students create an account, they need to log into their email address and click a link that verifies their identity. If they haven't done that, then they will not appear on your list under new students. So if a student has said, I've created an account, but you don't see them on this list, that means they have not clicked on that verification email. If they haven't received it, or maybe it went to their junk folder or their spam, then they can request a new one by clicking on Resend Verification Email. Going back here, another feature that you want to be aware of is in some instances, you may need to approve an account that maybe previously you denied. So maybe you didn't know that the student was new to your school and you had denied them because you didn't recognize them. You can click here, and then it will reload the students and show any students that were previously denied. In some instances, you'll have students who actually created an account the previous year. And so if you need to view those accounts, you'll click on 2016 and then reload that list. So be aware of these options here. Another thing that you want to be aware of is the student lookup feature. If you ever need to look into the details of a student's account, you can click on Student Lookup, and you can enter the student's EDU ID number, their first and last name, and look up the student. This will take you to the details of all of their requests and their profile. Another way you can get to that is through any table. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my approvals here, and I'm going to click on any random student. And so here we have a John Doe, and I can see all the details of any funds that were requested on his behalf and history. Now, in the profile, here are a few things to be aware of. If the given and family names appear as unknown, that means that the student has not created an account. Also, the email address will be blank. That means the student has not attempted to log into the system and doesn't have an account. In some instances, you'll see a first and last name, an email address, but then the student verified says denied. If this comes up as a different status, that means that the student has not verified the email link yet. And then if this one is approved, but this one is not approved, that means that they have not been approved by the school district. Another thing to keep in mind is we've also added this disable feature. And what that does is it completely disables the student account. So in some instances, we've had students move from one school district to another school district, and they no longer have access to their old email address. And so for that reason, they can't reset a password, they can't log into their account. Basically, they have no way to access it. If that is the case with any of your students, you can disable their account. When the account is disabled, the student will need to log in and create a brand new account from scratch. And then when you verify the EDU ID number, it will merge with the old data from previous requests from the previous school. And so here, in the student details, you'll also see other things like the student flags. So if you ever have a student who maybe is in a specific circumstance that other users need to be aware of, maybe a student failed a class and needs to pay for the next one on their own, and so you want all parties to be aware, you can always add a new record. You can enter a description here. So student perhaps failed English 101, must pay for next course, and then you can save changes. And this way, anyone who approves anything for this student or can view anything for this student, they can always see this comment there so that they're aware of how to process the student's information. You can also clear the flag, and it will still be there to as a historical record, but the student's account won't be flagged anymore. Another thing to keep in mind is here are the program enrollments, so you can look at the history of usage between the different years. And then you can also see the course submissions and their exam submissions. So that's all here under the EDU ID number, and you can see these details anytime you click on the student's EDU ID number. So that there is in a nutshell how you manage student accounts. Another note about the flags to keep in mind: when you are either approving courses or in any of the tables, if we were to scroll over to the very edge, we have these green and red dots. The green dots indicate that the student's account is not flagged. If you see a red dot, that's an indicator that the student's account is flagged. So that is also there for your information. If you have questions or need further guidance on how to manage student accounts, please feel free to reach out to our support team, and we'll be happy to help you. There are other videos available to help you with understanding timelines, how to set up your district with drop-down menus, how to manage the data, and then how to submit. So view any of those other videos for ease of processing this information.